What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne Young with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. TSMC is reporting record profits and booming demand for its AI chips. But at its annual shareholders meeting in Hsinchu, the spotlight turned for a moment to worker safety after a deadly accident at one of its construction sites just days earlier. Chris Gorin has the story.
C.C. Wei, chair and CEO of Taiwan chip giant TSMC, showing a bit of humanity as he apologizes to the family of a construction worker who died last week while building one of their new facilities in Jiayi County.
这个生命是无价的，而且我们也很注重公安。我们有所不足的地方，我必须代表公司致歉。我们实质是很努力的，我们不只是会赚钱，我们还有社会的责任。
The apology punctuated the company's annual shareholder meeting that was otherwise awash in record numbers. TSMC reported more than $25 billion in revenue last quarter, a year-on-year increase of more than 40%. Taking questions from investors, C.C. Wei said that while U.S. tariffs and fluctuations in the exchange rate of the Taiwan dollar had hurt company profit margins, demand for TSMC chips is outpacing supply.
全世界的经济稍微往下调，但是 AI 还是非常的强劲。 所以台积电还是会非常的成长，还是在20几%中位数。然后我们的今年的营业额和今年的盈余都会再创历史新高。
In the years since Wei became the first person to serve as both TSMC chair and CEO, the company has continued to expand abroad in Japan, Germany, and the U.S. However, Wei denied reports that TSMC is planning to build facilities in the Middle East. That's as one of the company's main customers, NVIDIA, is making deals to build some of the world's largest data centers in that region. But Taiwan's largest company is not without controversy. Prior to Wei's apology, labor groups and victims' families protested outside the meeting, calling for more safety on the company's construction sites. The company has also been criticized for its power and water usage. But many investors still seem satisfied with the bottom line. With rising global demand, record profits, and an expanding international footprint, executives here are hoping that's enough to keep shareholders on their side. Alex Chun and Chris Gorin in Hsinchu for TaiwanPlus.
The U.S. is urging countries to submit their best trade offers by Wednesday, according to Reuters. A draft letter from the U.S. Trade Representative shows the Trump administration is asking partners to make proposals on tariffs and quotas for U.S. agricultural and industrial goods and lay out plans to remove non-tariff barriers. While it's unclear which countries will receive the letter, it's directed at countries already actively negotiating with the United States. That might include Japan, Vietnam, and India. Voting stations have closed in South Korea as a snap election was held to replace ousted former President Yoon Suk-yeol. Polls show Lee Jae-myung from the opposition Democratic Party as the clear frontrunner in the race. He's running against conservative Kim Moon-soo from Yoon's former People Power Party. Yoon was removed from office after he briefly imposed martial law on the country in December. The move sparked widespread backlash and an ongoing criminal trial. For more on these South Korean elections and what's at stake, reporter Adele Broer spoke to Eric Mulbrand from Seoul National University.
So, Eric, to begin with, who are the leading presidential candidates for the elections in South Korea, and what's at stake with these elections?
We have from the Democratic Party, which controls the National Assembly, Lee Jae-myung, who was the presidential candidate 3 years ago and just narrowly lost that election to now former President Yoon, who had made the martial law declaration. And he is going up against the candidate from Yoon's party, Kim Moon-soo, who is unapologetic about the martial law attempt, rather surprisingly. So he is the main rival. He is also an interesting long-term political figure who cut his teeth actually in student activism back in the 1970s and 1980s, and was a figure opposing dictatorship. He was a very hardcore activist, in fact, and later switched and became a staunchly anti-communist conservative, and that is.
Eric, do you think these elections will bring stability to South Korean politics after the turmoil brought by former President Yoon's declaration of martial law last year?
I think we have a return to something like normalcy coming after this. The martial law declaration, which was very much an auto coup, it was an attempt to overthrow the existing order. This came out of nowhere. This was unanticipated. It brought moments of serious concern. I would say it's the most serious threat to the country's democracy in the past 35 years. However, we had a quick response, first in the National Assembly and then on the streets. Universally, the martial law declaration was condemned. But that issue was resolved, and here we are, exactly 6 months on, with an election that will most likely draw a line under that event. Now, politics in Korea, as in Taiwan, is lively. We should not expect there not to be vitriol and drama in the coming months, but that should not mislead us into thinking that there is some sort of instability.
And how have the relations with Taiwan been discussed during the campaign period?
In this election, much less has been said about foreign relations and about where Korea positions itself between the United States and China, or on questions of the Taiwan Strait. So we do not hear a huge amount about foreign policy or even about North Korea policy in this, in the way that the candidates in this election have campaigned. South Korea is in a very difficult position with its close security ally, the United States, on the one hand, and an investment, trade, and supply chain partner in China on the other.
That was Eric Mobrand of Seoul National University. Marshall Islands President Hilda Heine is in Taiwan for a 6-day visit to mark the 27th anniversary of formal ties between the two countries. It comes as China steps up efforts to woo Pacific Island nations.
Ours is a special and enduring relationship, one grounded in our shared Austronesian heritage and strengthened by mutual respect for each other's democratic systems and our steadfast commitment to the core values of freedom, justice, and the rule of law.
Heine met with President Lai Ching-te, who expressed gratitude to the Marshall Islands, one of Taiwan's 12 remaining diplomatic allies. The two countries are planning to sign several agreements in the next few days to strengthen bilateral cooperation, including in education and aviation. The visit comes just days after China hosted a meeting with top officials from 11 other Pacific Island nations as it seeks to expand its influence in the region. Every year, the Edison Awards honor worldwide excellence in innovation. This year, one of Taiwan's top research institutes won 7 awards, claiming nearly half of Taiwan's 18 total wins. Leslie Liao reports from a joint ceremony marking Taiwan's achievements.
Taiwan doesn't just make the chips that go into cutting-edge technology, it's also proven itself to be an innovation heavyweight. The country's Industrial Technology Research Institute, or ITRI, is celebrating its 7 wins at this year's Edison Awards. The institute took home prizes for innovations in areas like environmental sustainability, energy management, and medical technology. One of those inventions is a low-carbon laser that makes it easier, more energy efficient, and more environmentally friendly to create H-beams commonly used in construction.
焊接的这个过程是这整个生产线上面最重要的一个 bottleneck 哈。我们现在如果改成是雷射焊接的话，产数是5倍。
One of the top-rated ITRI innovations at the Edison Awards this year is an underground leak detection system. It uses AI and sound waves to find leaks in underground plumbing systems. It's hailed as a game changer because traditional leak detection is a labor-intensive and highly specialized skill. And that's not to mention its role in saving scarce water resources.
我们全台湾其实这种专业的人力大概就是80几个。 啊，它要检测全台那种6万多个管线哦，自来水管就6万多管线，它要每年一巡啊，其实2年一巡是最好的，可是它巡检不完。
E-Tree isn't the only Taiwan institution that's won at this year's Edison Awards. Institutes like National Taiwan University and the Taiwan Textile Research Institute also took home prizes as well, proving that Taiwan's not only behind the components that go into groundbreaking innovations, but it's also very much an innovator in and of itself. Patrick Sun and Leslie Liao in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
June 3rd marks World Bicycle Day, a celebration launched by the United Nations in 2018 and embraced by Taiwan ever since. This year, the government hosted events around the country. Our reporter Lauren Pettimore went to one of them.
Taiwan's often called the cycling capital of Asia, and here on Taiwan's east coast, 150 eager cyclists are proving that title true, setting off for a group ride in the early morning at just one of the many government-run events marking World Bicycle Day. Officials, locals and visitors are setting off along Geelong's coast. Cyclists here, excited to ride together.
然后其实政府近年来也举办很多脚踏车活动，其实我都尽量去参加，因为我觉得这样大家一起骑车的感受还不错，而且他们选的点其实都还挺美的，也可以大家多参加。
Many here, hoping the event will encourage greener living.
我们只有一个地球，没有 B 星球，没有 B 计划，那我们从今天开始骑车爱地球。
Also participating in the ride, international visitors, some who've travelled to Taiwan for what's known as a Huandao, or around the island ride.
私は2回ファンタをしました。で、その時にサイクリングの環境、あとサイクリストにすごく優しい、サイクリストフレンドリーと、あとエンバイロメント、環境がすごくいいと思いました。
The Round Island Loop is growing in popularity among locals and visitors. Cycling route number 1 stretches 968 kilometres, taking riders through back roads, forests, mountains and along the coast. And the route's been revamped recently, with major government investments over the past 5 years. Many visitors who travel to Taiwan to experience its biking come to shops like Yang Ya Chi's to rent out bikes to take on the road. A cyclist herself, she says Taiwan's scenery is a major draw.
The biggest reason, I would say, because Taiwan's just beautiful. You know, we got mountains, we got sea. It's such a blessing riding here because the condition of the road, they're very nice.
And what keeps visitors coming back isn't just the landscape, it's the people.
When you're doing Huandao, so you see people wave, you see people cheer you on, and they'll even give you free food, free drinks, free waters, even if you don't ask for them.
Last year, the Tour de France hosted its first event in Taiwan at Sun Moon Lake, encouraging many to hit the country's trails for the first time, including 4-time Tour de France champion Chris Froome. From mass rides like the one here in Geelong to the Tour de France returning for a second year and international cyclists coming to Taiwan to take on cycling route number 1, the country is fast cementing itself as Asia's biking capital. Justin Wu, Jeffrey Chen and Lauren Pettimore in Geelong, Taiwan for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, take a look at this annual religious procession in El Salvador, held to pray for an abundant harvest. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
For more stories from Taiwan and Expo 2025, download the TaiwanPlus app.